Hi, welcome to Cisco Live. My name is Sujit Ghosh. I'm a Director of Technical Marketing for Cisco Wireless. Today, what you're going to talk about, or in this venue, you will come across many sessions on wireless. It's going to focus on an on-prem and a cloud deployment. The focus over here is going to be on 6 gigahertz deployment with Wi-Fi 6E on-prem as well as on cloud, managed with Catalyst Center and AI operations, how we can monitor your network and inform you how the network is behaving. So come and join me with attending some of these sessions over here online, and also at the same time looking into what's there for the future of Wi-Fi. Now I'll hand it over to Dan for more details.
All right. Thank you, Sujit, and welcome everyone to Cisco Unplugged here. And I'm Dan Clamert, your host. And this week we are in episode 25. We're coming to you live from Cisco Live Amsterdam. Very excited here. And I would like to welcome our co-hosts or guests here today, Ian Prosick and Alfredo Santiesteban. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Hey, everyone. Doing great.
Absolutely, Dan. Having a lot of fun over here. It's coming up to the end of the day on Wednesday. It's local time is about 5:32 or so. So it's wrapping up. We're just in the little social media hub here next door to the World of Solutions. We wanted to be in the World of Solutions actually, but they're closing at 6, so we didn't want to have the hook. So there you go.
Yeah, didn't want to get kicked out, hey?
Yeah,
how's the week been so far? How's travel out there? And are you guys tired out yet? How is it going?
Smooth. Well, I mean, I got to say, I'm in a little bit jet lag. I mean, I'm hours, a little bit ahead of my time here, but it's okay. It's been great. The it's been okay, right? A little bit of rain, but it's a beautiful city. I can't say enough about it. It's so unique, so it's been great.
Yeah, for me.
Have you been out there before, Alfredo?
No, it's my first time. So when I got out there, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Canals, boats everywhere. Beautiful city.
Nice. Yeah, hopefully you get a little time in between everything to check out the city.
Yeah, it reminds me of home for me. I'm from Vancouver, so it's always pouring rain and windy, and so here we are. So we had a good chance here, Dan, to do quite a bit of things. You were doing some capture the flag stuff throughout the week. I think we'll kind of a little bit of some video on that a little bit later. On my end, doing some interactive breakout sessions here this time around on outdoor wireless, as I normally do, and work group bridge, my other favorite topic. And then I got a session coming up tomorrow with low Earth orbit satellite and some Starlink stuff as well, so that should be fun.
That sounds cool.
Oh, awesome.
Good attendance at the session. Like I think, or at the event. I think there's like 18,000 people here this year. So altogether pretty cool.
That's great. Hey, before we get going here a little further, I want to remind everyone, if you are tuned in here and you have any questions for Ian, Alfredo, myself, we are using Slido. So if you want to join the Slido, you can find that link below the YouTube stream link. Hit that password and you can submit your questions there. And again, we are streaming this on YouTube. If you want to see future sessions, we do have a nice, I'm excited for our next session. We'll plug that at the end, but we'll be live from the Wireless LAN Professionals Conference in Phoenix next episode. So you can see and register for that, the schedule at cs.co/getunplugged. So thanks, Ian. Just wanted to get those quick things in there.
Yeah, the housekeeping, absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the things that is top of mind for a lot of people, and I know some of my customers asked before I got over here. In fact, shout out to Alex if you're watching at the Vancouver Convention Center. He was curious about kind of the show Wi-Fi here, what we're doing in some of the keynote plenary areas from an infrastructure perspective. So I actually had a chance to get a hold and get the camera in front of a number of folks on the Cisco Live network infrastructure team. So we'll let you roll that clip now and we'll play that out and we'll come back and give you some synopsis on the end there.
Hi everyone, I'm Jiri, part of the NOC team, but my day job actually is in the UK. I'm part of the enterprise networking team and I'm a Wi-Fi architect there.
Hi, I'm Jason Davis. I'm a distinguished engineer at Cisco and I'm part of the DevNet team, but here at the event I'm also in the NOC and I work on the network monitoring and dashboards of the show.
Excellent. So Jason is actually the man who builds all these dashboards behind us. We're at the Cisco NOC stand, the Network Operations stand. So if you're interested in the stats, you'll see all those behind us. How many APs we have deployed, how many switches we have. So just to give you a few numbers, we're expecting about 16,000 visitors in Amsterdam. We have deployed around 500 switches, just shy of 500, I think 502 switches. On the access front, we have, did we say 16 core and distribution switches?
Yep.
And actually more APs than switches. We have 748 APs deployed at the minute. We are reusing some of those APs that belong to the venue, and we basically swing them to our own controllers that we bring, and we manage the whole estate. In some halls, we complement that with a few extra APs and augment it with those. And yeah, we have multiple pairs of controllers, separate pair for the keynote, so that we can fine-tune the settings for the keynote. We are running a CCO public image 17.12.2 image. So yeah, there's just a few stats from the wireless side. But yeah, Jason, any thoughts on or maybe if you could explain how we actually build the dashboards, or how you build the dashboards for us, so that we can present the data to our customers and partners on the stand.
Sure. And I want to reinforce, it's not all my dashboards. We have a lot of people that work on this team, and we have several very talented folks that contribute to the data collection and also the data visualization and rendering. We also do use our commercial management tools. So you will see Catalyst Center, which was formerly called DNA Center. There's other tools that we use by our partners in NetApp and such. So while yes, you will see some open source solutions and some homegrown things, the reason we do that is, one, being part of the DevNet organization, I like to show the art of the possible when you use the telemetry and instrumentation that's built into our products, right? And of course, you can use the commercial tools, again, like Catalyst Center. But when you go after the APIs, when you go after the SNMP instrumentation or the NetConf or streaming telemetry information, then you can start to make wonderful new inferences about what's going on by mixing and matching and combining data that may not natively be shown that way. So being able to extract information like the amount of wireless clients, we pull this information using NetConf data straight from the wireless LAN controllers. And what's a little bit unique is that I can pull all 3 sets of wireless LAN controllers and then mash up that data into other visualizations. And if we just went by some regular commercial applications out there, we may not have that basic functionality.
Absolutely. Just to chip in, we by all means use Catalyst Center internally. So in the NOC, we have Catalyst Center going, we have Assurance going. But I guess our use case is we come to the venue for 5 days. It's a temporary deployment. We need to be quick in, quick out. So we need to be able to deploy it as fast as we can. We need to be able to deinstall as fast as we can on the Friday afternoon and the Thursday evening. Yeah. So yeah, that's a kind of specific use case. Manage the inventory, deploy the kit, and get as many switches as we deployed back on the Friday evening. That's that's the goal. And obviously deliver a great experience. And to deliver a great experience, we can't really do it without any monitoring. So yeah, Jason's dashboards and I should say the whole team's work is much appreciated. Because yeah, without tools we can't do much. So
right. And we're starting to understand that maybe it's time that we can turn off that 2.4 band, right? Because we've seen over time that most of our users are now on the 5 gig band, right? And we're now pushing into 6 gig.
So we actually have 2.4 disabled this year, so that's no 2.4, or I should say that is 2.4, but not ours. So that there will be partners, individuals using 2.4 hotspots and other APs, but this year we basically agreed to use the 5 gigahertz for the show, with Unit 3 being available to anyone who wants to use 5 gigahertz, and 2.4, the whole band, or I should say the 3 channels in 2.4, available to anyone else who wants to deploy an AP at the stand and use use Wi-Fi there.
Sure. So if we think about what traffic is going on right now, I can look at my dashboard and say, oh, well, we've had 16.5 terabytes of traffic moved with the internet, total volume since Saturday, 2 p.m., when we had a soft open of registration. From a wireless client perspective, we might want to know how many clients are on right now. So it's 10,961 wireless clients. Wi-Fi 6E, the 6 gigahertz band, only 2% of our devices are out there, but Wi-Fi 6 on the 5 gig band, almost 75%. This is like thinking about 5 years ago when we were on 802.11 AC and watching the progression of folks off of N into AC, and we're seeing the same thing getting pushed from into AX 5 gig and AX 6 gig. So it's a wonderful thing to see those kind of...
Yeah, by all means, and just to set the context, we are using Wi-Fi 6E APs, 6 gigahertz capable in the meeting village. So if you are in the meeting village, you can pretty much get 6 gigahertz throughout the hall. Or if you are in the breakout sessions, we have 9166D1 APs, so a new access point with a directional antenna built into the enclosure of the AP. You can get 6 gigahertz there.
Yeah.
So those are the two main spots, and then we're reusing some of the venue APs that are not necessarily 6 gigahertz capable. Plus, we are adding APs from the inventory that might not be 6 gigahertz ready yet. So I think you mentioned 2%. Yeah. I think when I checked the number, we had about 11.4 connected plus 6 gigahertz capable. So arguably 11.4 is the today's number, and I should say today is Monday, so first day of the show. I would say we probably would expect to peak throughout the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, as people arrive. So yeah, around 11% is the 6 gigahertz capability of the client devices, I would say.
Sure. Yeah. And it's all about collecting stats. That's how we make better business decisions. And one of the newest dashboards we created, and Jiri, you're familiar with the Sankey diagram that we just created, and it shows us the overall total wireless count, and then it breaks it down and separates it into clients that are on the Cisco Live Wi-Fi network and clients that are on the Cisco Live WPA3 Wi-Fi network. How many of those are Wi-Fi 6 capable, Wi-Fi 6E capable, and also how many are operable in each of those bands. That helps us make good decisions, because it sounds like by looking at this data, not too many people that had Wi-Fi 6 capable devices knew to be on the WPA3 network. So we either have to fix that technologically or socially and help them to have a better experience by connecting to the WPA3 network.
Hi, I'm Simon Light. We're here at Cisco Live talking around spaces. So what's super cool around this is all of the great stuff we've been speaking with our customers around all year, around understanding space utilization, onboarding users onto Wi-Fi with open roaming, using things like the SDK. We've got it all deployed here at Cisco Live, so we can start to understand, hey, where is actually being utilized across the environment? Where are our busy stands? Where are our quiet stands? Seeing thand like, hey, the cafeteria queue for today was actually super long, right? And we can start to pull that back. We use the open roaming Cisco Live app. And what that means is our users are being onboarded nice and easily, and we've been monitoring that today. And we've been able to show customers really like in the flesh around what some of these use cases mean, some of the data we can collect, and really, it's been really valuable for us to be able to present this data.
This time we're actually in the real NOC with Maureen, who is the deployment lead for Cisco Live. And we're going to tell you more about the mounting methodology, so how we mount switches, how we mount APs. Over to you, Maureen.
My name is Marijn van Tol. I am the wireless specialist in the Amsterdam, Netherlands office. I have been on the NOC team for 10 years, and I have, together with Jiri, developed some ways of mounting APs specifically for Cisco Live.
I guess the challenge is all this is temporary, so we come to the venue, we take over the venue access points, but we then deploy our APs and switches. So if we start from the top, I guess that's probably the best way to start. Typically, if you buy a Cisco AP, what you get is a standard bracket. So you probably know this. That's in your access point box when you order one. And what we do here is, I'll probably hand it over to you, Maureen.
So for the one at the top, what we use is the part of the shell scheme that is used by the company who's building all the booths. They give us the pole and the little arm, and we just attach the Cisco bracket to the side arm using something called sliding nuts, and that's the way that gets mounted for temporary use.
I guess the other use case, we have been using these for quite some time. So in this example, we have a 9120 with two antennas attached to it, so dual 5 gig setup. First antenna pointed in one direction, the other one pointed in the other direction. So we have one cable drop, single AP, two 5 gig radios covering 2 different areas, and obviously you can roam between those 2 radios. How do we mount that one then?
So for mounting access points, originally we wanted to be able to mount them on the sound and light trusses that we use, for instance, in Keynote. It turned out that the poles are about the same size, so that it works. So what we have developed is this bracket, and this bracket fits the back of bracket 2 for the AP. It also fits the back of the Trout antenna, and it fits the back of the original Stadium antenna, the Gillaroo, was it 2513, the original one. That's this bracket. So what you attach to that bracket is something that in sound and light is called a half coupler, also known as a truss clamp, that will attach onto this, and that way you can put this either on a pole or hang it in a truss. Whether this is an AP or an antenna, that all works the same.
Amazing, thank you so much. So as we mentioned, everything is temporary, so even these antennas actually are using the clamps. So when we come, we can just do one clamp, second clamp, third clamp, deployed, and obviously the cables in between. So one antenna goes via the DART adapter, the other one goes straight to the RPTNC connections.
So for the Keynote, obviously, because there are multiple antennas up in the trusses, we needed a way to put switches on those trusses also. So that is why we developed this installation here, which basically allows you to add the switch to a truss in a secure way. One of the things we use for anything that goes overhead in trusses is safeties, because that is something that is mandatory. So we'll do that in here or through the loop in the actual bracket. So that way we can do a fast temporary deployment for all our Cisco gear here at Cisco Live.
So that's it from us. Thank you so much, and see you next year.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you, Jiri. That was great. It's always great to see behind the scenes with some of these big events. It's also good to know that I won't get hit in the head with a Cisco switch falling with that, thanks to that safety cable there. So I didn't know that, but so I wanted to ask you, Alfredo, a couple questions. I know when we think about Cisco Live, we think about the world of solutions. We think about great sessions, and Ian mentioned earlier, capture the flag. Could you tell us a little bit? I know you've worked a lot on this, and it's another piece that maybe some people aren't aware of, that they can access and leverage, and at Cisco Live and maybe beyond Cisco Live.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's been impressive. The showing, there's so many people lined up from morning to night, just trying to get in. There's a queue. People really liking it, and I'm proud to say that we have a new wireless lab demo that we introduced this year. I think that's been a big hit, and that's going to be available after Capture the Flag event here. So you don't have to play Capture the Flag. You can just access it through dCloud to be published later on, in probably the next couple of weeks. So everyone can access it from home. So it's going to be a great hit.
Nice.
I think you can enjoy it. So, and I think we have a little bit more from John. Go ahead, Jen.
No, that's great. I just wanted to ask one more question too. I guess it's effectively gamified labs, right? Is that what you're talking about when you're talking about Capture the Flag?
Yeah. We have several labs. So there's a variety of labs that we have. So specifically the wireless one. So you go in there, you can do about 17 missions in this case. You start one by one. They increase in intensity. So you can start from easy to very difficult, doing SSO configurations. DNAC even, you're gonna configure some SSIDs from DNAC directly. All sorts of the ICE as well integration.
All right, thanks.
So I think we have John Bartin too. Ian caught up to us earlier in the week, and we have a clip for that.
Pull it up and run it up for us, Tom.
Great. Capture the Flag. If you haven't been here before, you should come by and check it out. It makes a game out of the demos, and it makes it a lot of fun. Think of it like this. Every task in the demo is linked to a flag. Complete the task, get the flags, and get points. Those points, you can, as you complete all the tasks in a mission, you can use those points to earn continuing education credits to recertify. And if you are the top point winner in any particular architecture, you'll win a challenge coin, a exam credit, and a meet and greet with Cisco executives. It's a really fun experience. Ultimately, it's a fun place to hang out and learn. Come by for 20 minutes or come by for 8 hours. I think it'll be worth your while. In particular, one of the new pieces of content we have is a demo that Alfredo built, and I'll let Alfredo tell you about that.
Yeah, super excited about the demo. So it's a wireless deep dive, and it consists of virtual access points and virtual clients. And why it's important is because in the past, we used to have physical access points that we were required to connect to the controllers. Well, now we have virtual APs and virtual clients that are already connected to the controllers. And once you configure the flags, you go on, those clients will automatically connect, so you know you did the flag correctly.
Yeah,
super fun, super exciting.
And as a person who is not at heart a wireless person, I've always been on the wired side. I did the mission a couple times over the past couple weeks. It's a really great way to get up to speed. I feel like I know wireless now.
Yeah, it was a fun thing. I guess you got multiple orange shirts, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Every day of the
Three
week.
of them now. Cycle them through.
Yeah, I know, it's a fun time. Speaking of fun times, Dan, you can't go wrong if you get a chance to hang out with Matt or Josh on high density wireless, right? So I think you were. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, you're right. I've had the pleasure of attending one of their sessions previously in person at Live, and it's a lot of fun. There's always some good banter. I learn a lot, and a lot of times they'll just make fun of each other for half the session. But and then it was great to see that they got our unplugged commercial and the money that we sent them for.
How
But
much
I
money
understand
did you pay them?
when I was talking to Matt, he had a lot of people. I think he said over 600 people were signed up for the session.
It's certainly one of the more popular ones here, and I did get caught up to them just yesterday. Their session is actually just a couple hours ago, so I'd be curious to see how that all went. But they were in good form, and Tom, I'll let you roll that clip.
Hi, I'm Matt Swartz, Distinguished Engineer in the CX organization.
Hey, I'm Josh Suhr. I'm a Principal Architect in the CX Portfolio Development Organization.
That was a lot of words.
It was a lot of words. We're doing a session tomorrow, probably for the 30th time, about high-density Wi-Fi, which has changed a lot in the last, 11 years that we've been doing this presentation.
It has. We still love it, though, because we walk through all the different things you need to know about how to optimize and tune a high-density Wi-Fi network, starting with design principles all the way through configuration tips and tricks, and then some what do you watch out for type things.
We tell some stories, make fun of each other a lot.
We do make fun of each other a lot.
It
wouldn't be fun if we didn't.
Yep. So if you can check out the recording, if you're not here, check it out.
Yep.
So what's going on in Wi-Fi world these days? High density.
Oh man. Well, demand goes up every single day. So that's made high density Wi-Fi more and more challenging. But now that we have 6E, like at least indoors, I think we're still waiting on the outdoors thing to happen for us. So all of our big stadiums are still basically resource constrained. But once we get 6E outdoors, I think things are going to get a lot better.
I think so. And there's a lot of big stuff coming up, a lot of big events coming up over the next 4 years.
Where are you going in a couple days?
I don't know. Where am I going in a couple days? There's a big football game happening somewhere.
Football game in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm actually worried about your liver.
And there's a pretty great team that's
wait a
playing.
second. Did you guys know that he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan?
I'm from Kansas City. I'm from Kansas City.
I bet you're going to be happy to be at that game.
I am. Yeah.
I hope you make the Wi-Fi work.
I hope I do too.
All right.
I hope I do too.
What else should we talk about?
Let's see. What are we going to do at that big game? What are the big kind of activities that we normally do there?
Yeah. So in a big game like that, a couple of the things that you want to make sure work are like ticketing. If you can't get through the ticketing gates, you can't get to the game.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time in the beginning looking at all those core services that have to work, and then after that, we spend the rest of our time looking at how to deliver good Wi-Fi to all the fans, because everybody's taking pictures, everybody's uploading videos saying, hey, look at me, I'm in Las Vegas, I'm at the Super Bowl, and that translates to a ton of traffic.
It does, it does. There's always all kinds of unexpected stuff that comes up that we're chasing down.
Rogues, you'd be shocked at what people bring to a football game.
Yeah, yeah. And we usually don't get to see a whole lot of the game itself. But
he's lying. we get to see a little bit of the game.
Maybe a little bit, but
I'll tell you what we don't see. We don't see the kickoff.
Yeah.
But last year, when the Kansas City Chiefs won the game, he was definitely watching.
I did see that last little part there.
I think you shed a tear.
Yeah, that was a good game. Good game.
The flight home was fun, wasn't it?
Hoping for a repeat.
Yeah. All right, well,
yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
I'm pulling for the 49ers. No, I'm not. I'm joking. All right, what else should we talk about?
I don't know. Wi-Fi 7. Wi-Fi 7. What's coming up on that front?
And there's a lot of cool features in Wi-Fi 7. I think everybody's asking about it. I tend to defer to product management on that, but I'll just say that we do have a really, really cool thing we're working on for high density that will be in that Wi-Fi 7 range.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. Yeah. Everyone wants to know, but it's really cool.
That's right.
Better than the one we have now, which I think it's safe to say that anytime there's a product that's released that is performing, typically the guys that worked on that product are already working on the next product. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's a good.
What else should we talk about?
Let's see here. What about the show network? We're doing some 6 gigahertz around in a couple areas this year.
Yeah.
Got a lot of clients on the network.
I mean, I think 6 gigahertz at this show is awesome, unless you're Jake Fussell, who has an iPhone 11, by the way, and the Smithsonian called, and they want to confiscate that thing.
They do.
If anyone sees Jake Fussell, make sure you take a picture of his iPhone 11.
Yeah.
And you can't even plug it in. He has to charge it via the wireless charging.
Yep. It's been broken for a year.
I'm just going to give him my iPhone 15 to buy a new one. It's horrible. I hope that part stays in, the Jake Fussell part.
All right. Well, I think we're going to pass it back.
Oh, yeah. Back to you, Dan.
All right. Thanks, Matt and Josh. And it's good to see some shout outs there to Jake.
Poor Jake.
Poor Jake. Yeah, maybe we can pass the hat, get him an upgrade.
Exactly. Reach into the ashtray and find some loose change.
Yeah.
Brutal.
No, those guys are great, and thank you, Matt and Josh, for offering to do that, and for again plugging our show during your great sessions. So
cool beans.
Good. So, anything else you guys want to cover here? I know we're about a half hour in.
It's dinner time here, man. So I think that's the plan.
Something's cooking over here. Smell it.
Yeah, they're shutting down the World of Solutions pretty quick. But I got one more day left of main program here. Like I said, some sessions tomorrow. I think Friday's the wrap-up day for the event, so it should be fun. And we'll no doubt get some good details at the end of the event with regards to adoption and trends. I know I was talking to Nicholas, one of the PMs, with regards to open roaming here and the impact that's had on the whole WPA3 adoption. Actually, surprisingly good. The vast majority of those clients are on WPA3, so kind of an interesting tidbit of info. And so I'm sure we'll have more info, more details as things break down and we get out of the show here at the end of the week. So with that, Dan, back to you.
Hey, guys, do we have time for one question? There was one that came in here just now.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they're asking about APs and AP density for these types of events. So if we could just talk a little bit about, I'm curious about the density of the APs in a big room like at Cisco Live, for example. How many seats does the space have? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000 seats? What's the square footage on how many APs do you have for all the attendees? So kind of a high density question. It sounds like they would love to watch Matt and Josh's session there.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking up here right now. We're right underneath the 9104, and they're on a grid in this configuration in this particular room.
Sure.
It's pretty dense here. Most of the breakout rooms, right? They have a front and back like 9166. I think that was actually mentioned earlier on in the opening section there with Jiri. So they have 9166 D1s at the front and back of the room, 2 APs.
Sure.
What else are you seeing?
And the breakout rooms are kind of like a couple hundred people, right? I mean, those are smaller, quote unquote.
Typically 100 people, and you got 2 APs, one at the front of the room, one at the back of the room.
Yeah, similar thing to the Meet the Engineer and the Whisper Suite. So we have some offices lined up. Every single one of them has an AP, like a 9120 right outside of it. Right outside the door of it, and then you also have some antennas at the ceiling too. So to capture some.
There's the hook.
So very dense for sure.
So yeah, I mean, we could certainly get you some specific information about the grid and the density and whatnot. If I remember correctly in the opening intro there, where we did a knock review with the folks, Jiri mentioned around 60 or 70 9104s that went into the keynote. And if I remember, it's like 5,000 people in that keynote, that big square room.
Yep.
So that's kind of in its shoulder-to-shoulder seating, obviously. And it's important to note that these are on truss work that is, are mounted to truss work that is not much more than about 25, 30 feet up. Maybe not even, I'm looking around here, it's probably 25 feet. So the signals are quite close to the ground, and therefore the cell size is actually pretty tight. There's some spaces in the venue here that are up in the original installation that is, probably more like the 50 to 60 foot mark. And those are the Grayling 2513 patches, the 4-port patch antennas that are the existing installations here.
I've had no issues with roaming too. I mean, no drop calls. I've been walking through all the areas, so turning the corner, no issues. So it's so dense.
Code version they're running here, if you didn't catch it, was 1712. We're on CCO build a code here, which is kind of cool, right?
Cutting edge,
yeah. Cutting edge and what's publicly available, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for answering that, gents, and thank you, Alfredo, Ian, for another great episode here. And again, I would just like to thank everyone for tuning in and encourage you to check out our next episode here in 2 weeks, where we will be live from the Wireless LAN Professionals Conference in Phoenix. And look forward to that. Should be interesting. And so again, if you want to see what we've got coming up for upcoming episodes, you can register or look at that list at cs.co/getunplugged. And again, would just invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified when we do go live with new content at youtube.com/@getunplugged. So thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, stay connected and unplugged.